Must be about time to start. Everybody's gotten quiet. It's good to see so many people here tonight. It's 6 o'clock. We'll call this regular Monday meeting of City Council to order. Call the roll, please.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein. Yes.
Thank you. Need a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion of the agenda? If not, call the roll, please.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein. Yes. Kirkland.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Moving on to the consent agenda, tonight we have minutes of the January 16th, 2023 regular city council meeting. Payments for contract services, these are all to Bolton and Mink. Violet Hill Cemetery Management, $120. Violet Hill Cemetery Expansion, $3,766.50. General Municipal Engineering, $3,550. Frog Creek Stream Restoration Phase 1, $1,725. 2020 Downtown Improvements, $10,588. 2019 Sanitary Sewer SIP Lining, $1,681. Wastewater Design, $21,648.60. Municipal Airport Engineering, $560. Comprehensive Plan Update, $6,396. Runway 1430 seconds relocation Phase 3, $958.50. Runway 1430 seconds relocation Phase 1, $13,099.50. Those should add up to $64,093.10. We have claims, registers, and financials, $1,434,398.55. Tonight, we have no licenses and permits on our agenda. Need a motion to approve those consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion of those items? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein. Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to city administrator's report.
All right. Well, as you can see, we definitely have a lot of projects going on from the Manx bills. But everything I think is either kind of in a winter lull or in design phase, but I think everything seems to be on track and going well. I know we'll chat a little bit about the wastewater plant, but I think they're kind of still working on inside things and getting that going. Airport project, we ran into a little bit of a hiccup with the wetland credit acquisition for the extension. But Matt and I had a meeting today about that. We have a meeting Wednesday about that. So hopefully we'll be able to find a solution to be able to move forward this summer and move some dirt. So still planning on moving forward with all of that project yet this summer and hopefully getting that done. If not, hopefully figuring it out and getting on with all of that. Do want to introduce for the first time live in person, Chris Cohe. He is our marketing and engagement coordinator. He's been around town for like 9 years now. So has a nice family in town and is excited to start a new journey in local government. So he spent the last couple of weeks getting used to our antics up at City Hall and even meeting a few other marketing people from other communities as well. So definitely getting off to a great start. And we're excited to have him on our team. So that was the fun part of my city administrator's report. Now for the not fun part regarding the legislative session. So I handed out 2 things for everybody. One is a printed copy of the first 2 pages of the legislative link. This comes out every Friday from the Iowa League of Cities. If you do not, if you do not get this every Friday, let us know and we'll make sure that all of our contact information is up to date with the League of Cities so that you can get on that. So a couple of things with that. On this first page, the recalculation of residential rollback If you remember back in the glory days of the multifamily residential rollback, that we were promised backfill indefinitely for, that they promptly ended the rollback, at least phased out for a number of years. As part of that law, when that came into the full rollback to where it matched the residential rollback, there was some issue and miscalculation in that they knew about in November, and was brought to light here in the last couple of weeks. So they are proposing a mid-budget correction of the rollback of about 2%. Doesn't seem like a lot, but our finance officer wizard, Susan Moorhead, put together a spreadsheet, as she does so well, that really outlines the impact to us. So you can see here, this blue section is what we had been budgeting for and did have in mind. So you'll see there a total levy rate of $17.90. That's down about 9 cents from where we were or are currently. Then going over with the rollback, we'd be looking at a levy rate of $18.14, almost 15 cents. So overall, that would be a difference of just about 24 cents on our levy rate. So kind of went from looking at a reduction of our levy to probably an increase on our levy just to keep up. And the things that we're hearing about the next rollback next year is that it might be in like the 48% range. So definitely it probably will affect us, but you can see in the yellow there down below, the increase to the levy, total levy would be about 24 cents, and a loss to the general fund of about $40,000. And what the state guidance is right now, continue as normal with budget, and then figure it out midstream if the law changes. So incredibly helpful guidance there. But we could be getting most of the way through our budget cycle and having to find a place to shave $40,000. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but we've already pared our budget down to the point that there's really not many places to just shave. So,
And of course, every city is going through this.
yes, every city, for some it's hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. For us, it's 40,000. So that's issue number one, phase one. The Senate file did pass unanimously. There was a failed amendment in the Senate to backfill. There will probably be an amendment in the House to also backfill 1 year of this miscalculation because it is coming middle of budget. I've heard that it's highly unlikely that that amendment would pass in the House as well. I think it has more traction in the House, but it doesn't sound like it will be going anywhere. So we can pretty well just plan on that 54% rollback and move on with that. That's probably the good news of the two issues on this form. But I also, on the back page, the legislative link, it is also outlining property tax reform. Probably, one of the most concerning things is I think they're trying to strike off a lot of wish list items. Looking at affecting tax increment financing, which is one of our crucial tools when it comes to economic development. Also looking at making changes to tax abatement. Not entirely clear on what that means, but obviously that would be, if there was major changes to that, that would have an effect on what we do here in Perry with our tax abatement program. One of the most concerning things, there's a limit on property valuation growth, as well as a cap on general fund growth. And it would cap that general fund at 103.25% of the previous year. Which Susie did the math this year and it was gonna be like $45,000 is what we'd be allowed to grow in a year. So obviously it doesn't even cover our salary raises, let alone increases in all of our other consumables and everything else we do. But I don't even quite know what to say on that one, but we'll continue to try and tell our story. I'd encourage everybody, reach out to anybody and everybody that you can to try and tell the story that rural Iowa, Perry specifically, is in a very different boat than a lot of other communities. And there can't be a one size fits all. Also, if you're talking to elected officials, remind them that you are also elected officials, elected by our residents to serve in this capacity to make these decisions, and that you're duly capable of making those decisions. So hit on that. And last but not least, looking at making changes to sales tax and local option sales tax, where it becomes a statewide sales tax distributed by the graces of the state. I could talk for a while about this, but you would have to bring me some alcohol, so we'll leave it at that for now. But do keep an eye out, League of Cities. If it's something very pressing, they'll put stuff out during the week. Otherwise, I'll do my best to try and push that back out and kind of give, working with Susie, some insight into its actual impact to us. Other than that, a general budget update we did. We're still kind of figuring our way through our new budget software. I think it's going really well so far. It's been a lot of data entry this first year for Susie. So we're still working through that. And I will say Susie has been less stressed than prior years working with this software.
Until Friday.
That was a day. But that's going well. We did most of our first round. I think we still have a couple people to chat with for budget, but still a little bit different than previous years of figuring out the software and kind of going through the budget process. But we will have a full budget workshop, either part of a council meeting or separate. So more to come on all of that. Any questions for me?
That's a lot of good news there.
I'm so glad I was able to set the mood for this meeting.
Yes.
Well, Sven, we'd like you to end on a up note. Do you have a tougher report this week for us?
He is figuring out his hands and giggling, so it's fun to watch. Learn something new every morning. So
Great. Thank you. Any other questions for Sven? Moving on to mayor council comments. Yeah, for those of you that thought it was just the schools that were suffering with the legislative session this year, it's also the cities. So lots of us have lots of good things to say about the legislature, but now is probably not the time or the place. So we'll move on. We had a great Burr weekend. Dean tells me we had, what, 800 people registered?
We had 700.
700 registered.
We just have a couple hundred from before. And we had 159 officially ride. But there was some that rode after 4 in the afternoon. I don't know if they got counted yet.
Anyway,
Tons of people. out there.
we had lots of people and from what I understand, there were no real problems. And it's just, it was a nice weather day too, where people come to town, spend their money and enjoy the day, and just have a lot of fun. And I want to thank the chamber and the volunteers that once again made Burr a successful event. I think that's all I have, Council. Anything else from council for comments tonight? Okay, thank you. If not, we'll move on to open forum. Speakers, once again, will be asked to step up to the microphone and state their name and address for the record. And any individual speaking will be given up to 3 minutes to address the council. Do we have anybody here for open forum tonight? Yes.
Oh, no,
You're next on the
He
agenda.
has a special place. You're first, Mary.
You're after open forum.
Hi, Mary Murphy. I'm the library director at the Perry Public Library. We had a staff meeting last Friday and we were just embracing our new entrepreneurial operating system. And I don't know, it's just going so great. And I wanted to bring to you our new employees, because I don't know if all of you have met them, but our first new employee was Mindy Farmer. She's our adult services librarian.
Okay. I'm Mindy Farmer. I'm the Adult Services Librarian, and I'm really thrilled to be working at the Perry Public Library. I actually get to see some of you when you come into the library already, and it's just such a joy for me to be in the library and to be able to be with the community and to share my love of books. I came from the community college where I was able to teach people about writing. And I'm just really excited to bring some new programs and also to continue doing the good work that we've been doing. So.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And our next new employee is Laura Pieper. She's our youth services librarian and she is dressed in her pajamas.
Yes, some of you may remember me. I used to spend a lot of time at council meetings as the reporter and editor for the Perry Chief. So, and some of you may have already seen me and met me. But yes, I am in my pajamas already because I'm going back to the library right after this for an evening story time, where the kids and I will be cuddling teddy bears and telling bedtime stories. So I'm really getting into this job. I love it. I'm having so much fun. We're doing a lot of fun, new things with the kids. And this is actually a new position. I'm not just the children's librarian, I'm the youth services. So that's babies all the way up through teens. So I'm covering all the bases. We have a lot of exciting new things going. I have a new STEM program for kids. And I have a Galentine's Day program coming up for the teens. And there's a lot of exciting things coming up for spring break. And we've got some new open facing shelving for the children's section for the picture books. So it'll be a lot easier for families to go through their books. So we have a lot of exciting things happening right now at the library. So pleased to meet you guys again in some cases. So thank you.
Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. It's good to see your enthusiasm and the excitement you bring to the library, where there already is a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. So thank you. Anybody else here for open forum? Nobody else for open forum? If not,
Lindsay's here on Zoom, if that's okay.
what was that?
Got me?
Okay.
Hey, it's Lindsay from the Perry Chamber. I just wanted to echo some things that have already been said about Burr. It was a great weekend for the ride, really great turnouts because of that weather. I think Dean already mentioned that we had 715 registered riders that included full registration and support the ride donations. And then 1159 counted on the road between 10 and 4. And so we can kind of easily bump that up to 1,200 for a round number with riders out on the road. So really great day for Perry overall, just being able to welcome so many riders from across the state, from even out of state. So just really great to have that opportunity. And a big thank you to the fire department and the Dallas County Amateur Radio volunteers, just with all of their work for the SAG wagon. It's always great to have eyes and ears out on the road to keep everyone safe. No major issues, and part of that's just with the great weather. People were able to complete their route and everything. Lots of people in town enjoying themselves into the evening. A great day for Perry businesses as well. So just a big thank you to the community for everything that goes into that. Lots of volunteer hours. and a great fundraiser for the chamber and other organizations. And then just a reminder, we have the 20th chocolate walk, 20th annual chocolate walk this Saturday, February 11th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. $10 tickets. So just another great chance to get out and see what's new with area businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Great event. One last call. Anybody else here for open forum? If not, next on our agenda, we have a special presentation. The Perry Rotary Club is here to present the 2022 Civil Servant of the Year Award presentation. I will turn it over to you.
Mayor, members of the council, thank you for letting me speak tonight. Dirk Kavanaugh, 2223 4th Street in Perry, Iowa. Today I am representing the Perry Rotary Club. It's the time of year for us to do our annual Civil Servant of the Year. As you know, we like to do this at city council meetings so that it's a public record and lets everyone know who's been awarded this year's plaque. So we had 4 nominees this year, and the selection committee had a hard time picking which one got the award, but they did choose a very deserving couple this year. So the 2022 Rotary Civil Servant of the Year award goes to Linda and John Andorf. They were nominated by Linda Kaufman and Tom Lipovac, who wrote, Linda and John Andorf serve in a number of roles in the Perry community. Currently, Linda is the president of the Perry Community School Board, District Board of Education. John is the mayor of Perry, current member and past president of the Lions Club, and organizes and facilitates Kids Site through the Lions Club. John serves on the board for the Raccoon Valley Pet Rescue and is responsible for collecting donations from the boxes at local businesses around town. Linda is a Perry School Foundation Director and a member of the Veterans Day Committee. John is a frequent presenter at the annual Veterans Day celebration. Linda is also the treasurer of the Retired Teachers Organization of Dallas County and was past president of the Perry Peacemakers Quilt Guild. She is also a member of the Optimist Club. Together, they are involved in the Optimist Club, putting together a project, putting up and taking down flags each holiday. This year will mark their 4th year assisting with the Elks Christmas Day dinner. Linda and John are also members of 100+ People for Perry, participating in all 6 years of the organization's existence. Linda and John are the coordinators for the annual Perry Area Toys for Tots program. For the past 12 years, they have organized the collection of toys, solicited donations, mobilized community volunteers, and developed a system for the week-long Christmas gift distribution. Linda states, the people of Perry are always extremely generous in our annual toy drive. What can warm the heart more than delivering new toys at Christmas and bringing a message of hope to those less fortunate than us? And they concluded here with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, everyone can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. And Linda and John Andorf demonstrate a commitment to service and a devotion to the town of Perry, Iowa, a place where culture and community thrive. So thank you very much for all you do for the community, and come up and
I'd just like to say, at the end of the day, it's not so much about who you are, but what you are and what you give to the people of the community and the community at large. Thank you.
I'm generally not terribly speechless, but I'm not sure I can express how terribly grateful we are, because we grew up with parents who said you need to give back, you need to pay forward, and we've lived our life that way, and hopefully that our children will do the same. But so I have to thank my friends for such a very generous and overwhelming recognition. Thank you.
Thank you. One last thing, as indicated, there was a number of nominees, and I'm sure they were all very well deserving. I'd just like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank the many volunteers from the community of Woodward. Toys were mentioned that we do. We couldn't do it without so many volunteers and so many generous people. That's just true with so many things in Perry. Perry has a lot of people who really volunteer and give of their time and resources, and I'd just like to recognize them and thank them too. Thank you. Move on to old business. Approval of pay application number 20 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements. Pay application number 20 in the amount of $836,574.13 to Woodworth Construction is for the construction of the wastewater treatment facility improvements to date. Total payments requested by the contractor are 64.1% of the total amount of work to be completed under the contract. All documents have been reviewed and signed by the engineer and are recommended for approval. Need a motion, please?
Make a motion to pass.
We'll give you a little update here. It's not over $1 million, the pay request, so that's good. 64% is where they're at right now. Basically, with the weather and everything, they're really focusing on inside electrical work, stuff like that. But I think everything's moving pretty forward. Would you say, Matt, with everything? Doing different work on the clarifier buildings, UV buildings, the operations building, different things like that, administrative building. There's not a lot left to do there, but we will be bringing to you later another item for some replacement things for some digester blowers that we thought were going to be okay, but weren't. But other than that, I think everything's going good. Do you have anything to add, Matt, at all? Okay.
So we had talked earlier that there was maybe some hiccups in some of that mechanical stuff that was ordered. Is all that kind of evened out? I don't know anything about that. Are we getting lucky, is what I'm saying?
Short answer is no. I wish I had better news for you, but no, as they're coming in, we're putting as much as we can. Like I said, a lot of the work right now is electrical installation, which is a positive thing. If you'd asked me 2 months ago, we'd be doing electrical work right now, maybe not. But they're getting a lot of that equipment. It is coming in now, but some of the bigger stuff that we really need for the control panels, those kind of things, they're still showing like it might be July or August. So
That's the world we live in.
it is, unfortunately. We just keep asking every week and they keep tracking it. So
Any further discussion or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkman,
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Mahler.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Next item under old business, resolution awarding and approving the lease agreement for the Caboose Park concessions per resolution number 121-1922F. The city of Perry solicited for proposals in order to identify individuals and or businesses qualified to operate and manage the concession stand located at Caboose Park. One proposal was received and reviewed by the committee. Christina Silva and Miriam Cruz are recommended for award to operate and manage the concession stand. Per the lease agreement, the lessee will pay the city of Perry for the use of the caboose and utilities provided $180 per operating month with a minimum of 6 months rent or $1,080 per calendar year until December 31st, 2024. This resolution approves the lease agreement and authorizes the mayor and city administrator to sign the lease agreement. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we pass a resolution awarding and approving the lease agreement for the Caboose Park.
session.
Discussion?
No, no, Liz, do you know much about this?
I believe John, like it says, there was one proposal that was received that John got. I believe he talked with 2 of his board members for the Parks and Rec Board. And I don't think they have any comment that I heard back anyways on that. John is ice fishing right now, so I know.
This
He
is,
asked me when the fish fry will be.
John told me this is the only person that put in the rentals. It's the same people who had it last year. They're paying by the month now instead of a percentage. They're paying a fixed fee. So maybe they'll be open. We're hoping.
Their hours look like they'll be open on weekends. I don't know. Christina's here if you want to ask any questions.
Guys have any questions? I know last year was a little weird for us, putting my health in there itself for both hospitals. So last year was kind of a rough year for us. What do you think this year goes better?
We like your business. We just want you there more.
Yeah. No, and that's, I mean, I hope this summer we can be there more study and get more people, because I mean, towards the end of our year last year, we found out a lot of people didn't even know we were there. So that was kind of, you know. like-
An open sign would be helpful.
Yes, and we're trying to figure out how to draw more attention to where we're at. If anybody has any suggestions on anything, or, because it is kind of hard to, it's hard to see open signs in our window.
Sure.
So, I mean,
And you put one on the outside.
You could get a folding stand that you could put facing the bike trail that would be big enough that would attract people's attention.
okay,
Or if you had noise, if you had music playing outside,
yeah,
through a speaker or something like that, that would get their attention as they're riding.
okay.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah, no, it does, and like I said,
Yeah, because if you put the flags up and the flags are up all the time, you don't know whether it's real or it's not.
yes,
I know there's been a lot of people stopping. Wish you were over. We're getting a nice follow.
Yeah.
thank you, and we appreciate it. And, I mean, like I said, hopefully this year goes a lot better for us,
Hopefully.
health-wise and everything, and and if anybody has suggestions on new things they'd like for us to try or anything, I mean, just send me a message or let us know. And we've tried different items, see how they work.
That's the one.
We'll be happy to be back.
We hope it works out well and have a great year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, call the roll, please.
Wallen.
Yes.
Muller.
Yes.
Berkeley.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to new business, resolution setting public hearing date on fiscal year 2024 proposed maximum property tax dollars. Beginning with the fiscal year 2021 budget, cities are required to hold a public hearing on the proposed maximum property tax dollars to certify for levy. This resolution sets the public hearing on the proposed maximum property tax dollars for fiscal year ending June 30, 2024 at 6 p.m. on February 21st, 2023 in the second floor meeting room of the Towncraft Building, 1122 Willis Avenue in Perry, Iowa. Need a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution setting public hearing date on fiscal year 2024 proposed maximum property tax.
I'll second that.
Any discussion related to setting the date for this public hearing?
I can go over some of the numbers now if you'd like, or we can wait till the public hearing. It is, the public hearing notice is going to be in the Prairie Chief this Thursday, so if anyone wants to review it, it also will be on our website and have a link on the Facebook page. Right now, since the state is telling us not to make any changes yet, the levy with the proposed maximum property tax is $3,103,899, which would be a levy rate of 16.45, and that's before the state makes any changes in the rollback, which is a 9.5% increase. And like I complained about every year, this does not include the debt service levy, so I still think it's misleading, but that's how the state wants us to do it. So, but the 1645 is for everything but the debt service levy.
And how was that changed?
It was 16.29 would be what the levy rate without debt service this current year.
And one note on that is that it is the maximum property tax dollars. So with this change in rollback, we can change the levy rate, but it's the tax dollars that we collect that is the max that we are.
So if a city, if we lower the levy rate or if we lower the dollars we're asking for, we don't need to make any additional changes or have another public hearing. It's just only if we increase it. The state is looking at when the budgets used to always be due on March 15th. As Vicky knows, right, Vicky? And then with the max levy hearing, when they added a second hearing, they increased the time to March 31st. And now with the change this year, in the middle of a budget year, they're looking at maybe even extending it out to April 30th. So, I mean, I think we'll be able to at least get everything published and approved in time, but we'll just have to see what happens.
It's definitely frustrating continuing working through the budget, knowing everything's going to change. Yes. We'll roll with it.
That has a domino effect. County, by the time they get all that stuff in the state.
Any further discussion or? There's no further discussion. Call the roll, please.
Klein.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Waller.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Okay, next item under new business. Resolution authorizing the destruction of specified documents. The city needs to provide a safe place to store city documents that the law requires to be retained for specified periods of time. In order to provide such place, a destruction certificate for documents no longer required by law to be retained is periodically provided to the city council for approval to destroy the listed documents. In accordance with the most recent record retention manual for Iowa cities dated October 2012, produced by the Iowa League of Cities, State Historical Society of Iowa's Archives and Records Bureau, and Iowa Municipal Finance Officers Association, the attached list of documents are set to be destroyed upon approval. Once approved, the finance officer and the city clerk shall be authorized to destroy said audited documents as outlined and required by law. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the destruction of specified documents. I'll second. We not the closet.
Discussion? If
Getting
there's,
filing cabinets for the vault, so that's exciting.
if there's no further discussion, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Next item under new business, resolution approving service agreement with Greaves Company. These services agreements through Greaves would be for a biannual inspection of the McCurry Community Center, Library, Carnegie Library, and City Hall building. Low voltage HVAC controls per the agreements. Greaves will test all actuators, thermostats, and computer software to identify any problems that need to be addressed. These service agreements differ from the preventative maintenance service agreement that focuses on the mechanical functions of these HVAC systems, such as pumps, motors, belts. This resolution would approve the agreement with the following costs: Perry Public Library and Carnegie Library Museum, $2,800. City Hall, $2,400, and McCurry Community Center, $2,400. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass on resolution to approve service agreement with the Reese Company.
I'll second
Discussion?
So previously, I believe we only had this contract with the rec center. And it has really helped them out in finding issues before they really pop up. I know at City Hall, probably the library, we've kind of gotten the mechanicals to the point where they're functioning. But now it's these little actuators here and there that typically causes some issues. So I think this is a good preventative maintenance investment that they come and check this stuff out. And just let us know if anything needs to be fixed.
With that fee, will they give us the actuators or those? Are all-
I believe that's just inspections or testing. Yep. You can donate them if you'd like.
No, so good.
Any further questions or discussions about this agreement? If not, call the roll, please.
Mueller,
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Berglund.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes.
Thank you. Next item under new business, resolution authorizing the sale or discarding of unused / outdated equipment. The library currently owns bookshelves that are no longer needed. The library desires to dispose of the shelving in a manner calculated to obtain the best possible sale price or discard them. This resolution would allow for the sale or discarding of the outdated and unused bookshelves. Need a motion, please?
I move the authorization of the resolution authorizing the sale or discarding of unused outdated equipment.
I'll second.
Discussion? So we're gonna try and sell them first and see if we get anybody that'll buy them, or Mary's gonna talk to us.
With the acquisition of the face out bookshelves, we now have 3 bookshelves that we don't have room for. So we're going to try to sell them to another library or any being that wants some of those bookshelves. They're the lower ones, they're about this type. So we're kind of late getting this face out bookshelves, but it gives the little guys and girls, they flip through the books. And you know, what catches your eye in a bookstore is the covers. And so and they're subject-based rather than author-based. So you have the construction equipment all in one place, all the animals in one place. So it's going to be cool. But first we have to get rid of the old ones.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or discussion about the sale or discarding of these pieces of outdated equipment? If not, call the roll, please.
Schott.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes.
Berglund.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Walling. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item under new business, resolution of notice and intent to dispose of abandoned and unused and outdated property. The Perry Police Department has accumulated unclaimed bicycles, found items, and items from confiscation cases that could not be claimed by owners. The city has stored and cared for these items at the city's expense, which is a burden to taxpayers and consuming storage space. This resolution would set a public hearing on the city's intent for March 6, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the second floor meeting room of the Towncraft Building, 1122 Willis Avenue in Perry, Iowa. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion that we pass the resolution of notice and intent to dispose of abandoned and unused and outdated property.
Bike sale time? Bike sale.
Bike sale.
How many do we have right now?
We probably have 40 to 50. Should get pretty close. I don't have the exact number. I know it's 150.
A lot. 39 roughly. 39.
Close enough to 40.
I think I got a kick out of those driver's licenses and social security cards.
Those will be disposed of and destroyed and not sold.
I just wondered if there was a sale price on it.
Probably more than the bikes are worth.
Bookshelves, and bicycles, here's some of my favorite things.
Revenue, right, Susie?
I'll see you.
Our usual bike sale day and other good treasures. Any other questions or discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Wally?
Yes.
Muller?
Yes.
Berkeley?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Thank you. Next item under new business. Resolution adopting the Dallas County Hazard Mitigation Plan update. A hazard mitigation plan was prepared by the Dallas County Emergency Management Agency with assistance from JEL Consulting Group, Inc. The updated plan has been reviewed and approved by the state and FEMA and now needs to be formally adopted by the governing body of the city. By completing this final critical step of the plan, the city will be eligible for hazard mitigation grant funding with FEMA. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass resolution adopting the Dallas County Hazardous Mitigation Plan update.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I know this is updated every now and then, and I believe Eric went to a meeting or two and had some involvement. We had a few meetings kind of going over some draft items in our section, but do you want to say anything? We're fully prepared for another derecho at this point.
So basically what this plan does just identifies potential hazards throughout the county as well as the city of Perry and helps us to develop plans to try to limit their impact on us. I guess one of the big, a good example would be like the Frog Creek project is to help kind of with the storm runoff and that kind of thing. And that was on our project our last mitigation plan. So that'll be going to bid sometime this spring.
And this plan does include a backup generator for Susie's house so that she has air conditioning at home and is not cranky at City Hall.
So, but yeah, the emergency management kind of hits us up and all the cities in Dallas County are involved with it as well as the school districts as well. So
Okay.
it's a very exciting reading. If you have some.
Oh, man.
How many pages is it, Liz?
I don't know, probably at least 1,000, because there's 4 links and each link had like in between 300 and 2 something, so.
Good stuff. Any further discussion or questions on the hazard mitigation plan update? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkeley?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Muller?
Yes.
Wally? Yes. Scott?
Yes.
Next item under new business, resolution approving the proposal request for emergency maintenance replacement of 3 digester PD blowers and wastewater treatment facility. During facility planning and final design phases of the wastewater treatment facility improvements project, the PD blowers that had been installed in 2003 were considered to have been considerable longevity left, which was seen and had been determined was not the case. The PD blowers have failed and are in need of necessary emergency/maintenance replacement. Woodruff Construction, the active contractor on the wastewater treatment facility improvement project, submitted a proposal request to remove and demolish the 3 existing PD blowers and install 3 new Gardner Denver PD blowers. Bolton and Mink advised that the prospect of identifying other contractors capable of completing the work on an expedited schedule were low, and that Woodruff Construction is already mobilized at the facility for the wastewater treatment facility improvements. Bolton and Mink selected Woodruff Construction as a company is already mobilized and to avoid a situation of having another general contractor on an active secured construction site. Staff reviewed the proposed request and recommends that council approve the proposal request from Woodruff Construction in the amount of $153,277 for necessary emergency maintenance replacement of the PD blowers. Need a motion, please? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we pass a resolution approving the proposal request for emergency maintenance and replacement of the street doors at the wastewater treatment facility.
So short version, when we set into the wastewater project, these blowers were not going to be replaced as part of our process. When they reviewed them at the time, they were performing well. They weren't really at the age where we thought they would be replaced, nor did the staff. They did fail here just recently. They all basically kind of hit the same spot. So we took two approaches. We could either amend or do a change order, bring it into the project that we're doing now, which would put the amount towards the SRF loan. That was the original track that the staff were going to go down after reviewing it, have a little more discussion. I suggested maybe we actually take it out of that to avoid adding additional cost in the SRF loan and the additional fees that come with that, and kind of that work since we had the dollars. So we went back to Woodruff and said, okay, we'd like you to revise your quote to remove it as if it's not an SRF project. And so that's what you have here this evening. As we reviewed that process, we did get one quote from Woodruff out of that process, which is not typically the way we would go about doing that. But we also have a project that's an active project on site that has millions of dollars worth of work and very limited in access. So we felt there was going to be one very limited interest in other contractors coming into the site. And also we felt it brought a conflict to have an open construction site with federal requirements and having another contract working on the site. We did review the estimate from Woodruff. We do feel that it's reasonable. It's compared to other sites, similar blowers. We don't believe it's out of line. So we recommended going forward with it as it is.
Seems to make sense.
It does make
It-
sense.
it's a-
We do have a fund balance that we could pay, but it wasn't necessarily, obviously, we didn't know, so it was budgeted for, but we do have a fund balance to pay for it.
I've got a big problem with not taking bids on something this expensive. I think we ought to take bids. I think maybe we can save the city $10,000. I don't know, and possibly, Woodruff's a very great government. But I feel, me as somebody voting for the citizens of Perry, I want to see a bid. It wouldn't hurt to have somebody come in and do a bid. And these are contractors. If somebody will beat them, they're not gonna go on there, throw a wrench in it. That's how I feel about spending city's money without bids.
I understand the conflict between having two.
Yeah,
contractors on a secure site.
Typically, we would approach it just like you stated. I 99.9% of the time would agree with you. We did some research. I don't know if we're going to find anybody to. We can continue to do so if council would like us to do that. We certainly can continue to look for bidders. But I also, to some extent, I'm a little bit concerned about taking the time to do that and get the blowers replaced and get them ordered and installed. And the longer they're down, the more at risk we are in the process also. So it was a lot. I would agree with you. Yes, typically we would not recommend this approach. But we also feel like there's some risk at play, both with having someone else on the site, not that they would cause an issue, but there's just an inherent risk that comes with that. And again, timeliness of it.
I think Matt will vouch that there was considerable pushback from administration. But really, I think the biggest thing is that there are people out there surveying the workers for the wage certifications for the federal dollars that are in this project. And that just gray area of having another contractor there with the federal dollars really pushed it over the edge where I conceded to put it on the agenda. So normally I would not have accepted it. I think we went through this a couple of years ago and they did go get a few more bids to bring to the city council. So
I think I remember that.
Yep. And we have another project at the wastewater treatment plant that's going to be outside the fence, actually installing fence that we're getting quotes for, just because it's not in the active site. We viewed that as a big difference.
Could we have bid the equipment and have them install?
That's kind of what we did, actually. That's
it's
what.
kind of a single point source for the blowers.
Yeah, it's like a pump.
It's
So-
basically just
The
labor, and they're already there. So really, we're saving on mobilization costs, if anything, because they're already there.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions to that. So replacement is the only option, there's no repair.
Right, yep.
Okay, and then, there's no, kind of salvage of things that we can do to recoup some of this cost.
They'll be salvage to owner. There's things we can do with them as far as, they'll still belong to the city.
What was the proposed longevity of this machine?
I would have to look, but I think generally they look at anywhere from like 30-ish years. And so we're a little bit early. We're 10 years short of that. Yeah.
Is there any kind of longevity guarantee?
As much as I would love to say yes, there's, they come with, they'll be included under the maintenance stuff that goes with the plant itself. Wastewater treatment plants are tough in that just because the environment is so corrosive on equipment, and it's not uncommon to run into things like this where if they've been exposed to something that the rest of the plant isn't, or those environments are pretty hard on them.
I'm sure you guys already talked about it.
Sure. And I'm okay if council really prefers to go get some more quotes, I'm okay doing that as well. But I wanted to bring it to you at this point. This was our thoughts after kind of beating the bushes and looking through it and deciding how best to handle the situation.
I think in general, I would always like to have another bid, but I trust your judgment and I understand the reasoning behind it.
Sure.
And I'll support it.
Any further questions or discussions before we call the roll? We had some good questions, and good discussion. Appreciate that. Call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Baller.
Yes.
Kirkland.
No.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Having no other further business before us tonight, we stand adjourned at 6:57 PM. Thank you.
Text me. It's, hey, you know, the meeting was-